Hey everyone, it's me, Penrose776. You know what we're looking at? Fire Emblem Heroes new band. Ooh, red smoke. Fancy. Sure, the gears were nice. I liked the gears, but... Oh, and the little Emblem's Askr style like gate as well. Obviously, we know who was on the banner. It was in the FEH Channel, so I can't really act surprised. But what can surprise us is the skills. So let's go straight in and take a look at those. Priam, I remember they taught us how to pronounce his name in the FEH Channel, but I cannot remember things like that. He wields the Ancient Ragnar. He's a sword infantry unit, of course. Grants defense +3. Unit can counterattack regardless of foe's range. At the start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 50% or bonus is active on unit, inflicts attack defense -6 on foe during combat. Interesting to see that as far as pure, unconditional DC weapons go, they're still being very wary with giving them good effects. That's understandable, I think. I mean, you saw what happened to Fallen Edelgard, who had conditional DC and a bunch of effects, but that condition, being the beast condition, is comparatively easy to set up. So they've scaled that back down a bit for Priam, but he's an infantry unit. If he has good stats, there's a lot of skills he has access to just by virtue of being a melee infantry, that means he's probably going to be good no matter what. And yeah, DC attack defense -6, it's just stats. The condition's pretty easy to meet because 50% HP, okay, or even if you're below that, you can still get there using bonuses. Sure. Attack defense ideal 4. It's back. If you don't want to follow off Fallen Edelgards just for their ideal skill, then Priam is your next best bet. Yeah, looks like he's going to be a very attack and defense focused unit, which is fair. Null follow-up in the B slot. Always, like, honestly, one of the best skills in the game. If you're infantry, you can run it. Turning speed checks into actually speed checks rather than, like, layering various null follow-ups and, no, not null follow-ups, prevent follow-ups and guaranteed follow-ups and all that nonsense. Just wiping all of that out and going speed gets you pretty dang far as both survivability, because you're preventing foes' follow-ups, and offensive power for guaranteeing your own, if you win the speed competition, of course. And in the C slot, Rouse Speed Defense 4. It's another new Rouse 4 skill, and it works the same as Legion's Rouse 4. Start of turn, if unit is not adjacent to an ally, grants speed defense +6 and null panic to unit for 1 turn. Now, speed defense, not everyone needs those stats. A lot of units would much rather have attack as a stat on their skill of choice because, you know, killing things is nice, but the stats on the Rouse don't really matter because you can get the other 2 stats from wherever. You're getting null panic. That's what's exciting here. You get null panic, and you don't even have to bring a sharer to get your hands on it. So, all in all, Priam looking pretty solid here, both in terms of, well, as a unit with that Ancient Ragnar. Sure, it's not immensely turbo busted, but it looks like he's going to have good stats, and he also has great fodder. The ideal skill is something that really was difficult to, like, fodder off to anyone up until now because, well, it's only on 1 unit, and if you want that unit because they're a very strong unit, the metagame, like, sort of revolves around them a little bit for a while, maybe you don't want to toss that unit out just for their ideal skill, right? Now, follow-up is great, sure, and Rouse Speed Defense 4, one of only 2 Rouse 4 sources in the game. Ooh, you love to see that. Let's keep going. How do his animations look?
Think you can take it?
a little bit ether inspired, maybe. Here is Flavia, the East Khan. She is also sword infantry. We're going double red on this banner. By the way, I love Flavia. Her kit is somewhat smaller, but no less exciting. The Lioness Blade. Accelerate special trigger, cooldown count -1 at start of combat. If unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants attack speed +6 during combat, and if special triggers, excluding area of effect specials, disables non-special skills that reduce damage by X%. Hey, where have we seen that effect before on young Inners? It was great on him. It's going to be great here too. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be great here too. A lot of units out there, I mean a lot, rely on damage reduction for survival. Just cut it out. Just don't let them have it. And the accelerating special trigger is neat as well, because it means you get to proc that damage reduction shredding effect that much more often. And at start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, and if foe's HP is greater than or equal to 75%, okay, weird condition, grant special cooldown charge +1 per unit's attack during combat. So, great, you've got a source of special acceleration as well to go with your cooldown reduction and to go with your special triggered effect. It's a very focused kit. The HP conditions are a bit weird, but they're easily meetable. I mean, a 25% HP condition is basically always active. The foe's HP is greater than or equal to 75%, bit less always active, but if you're initiating on a foe, like with her first, they'll be at full hit points. So that'll always be the case, right? Draconic Aura, it's a special. What does it say about her? She has high attack. Who could have guessed? Attack speed push 4, it's back. Everyone has attack speed push 4, you can never get enough of the dang stuff. But in the C slot, what do I see? Red Feud 3. 3 means it's a new inheritable skill. If in combat against a red foe, disables skills of all foes excluding foe in combat, and inflicts attack speed death res -4 on foe during combat. During combat, disables skills of all red foes excluding foe in combat. Oh! That's interesting. That's like Bramimond. If Bramimond really disliked specifically red units. So let's work that out. Firstly, if you initiate on anyone, red supports aren't gonna have their skills activate. You know, their drive skills, their... Who's a red support, anyway? Plumeria, I guess? Yeah, you're not getting, like, the stats that Plumeria's Flower of Whatever gives. But also, if you're attacking into a red unit with this, then they get the full Bramimond treatment. They don't get to benefit from the skills of any of their allies, and they get -4 tool stats. Now, note this is in combat, so it doesn't care about anything like before combat effects, like for instance Savior going off, but purely in combat, you're stripping all of those external buffs away. It's just a one-on-one. Nice. I wonder who's going to be able to inherit this. My best guess would be that they follow similar inheritance conditions to like the breaker skills. Swordbreaker, for instance, can be inherited by non-blue units. Non-green units, even. Blue units can inherit it, green units can't. Because they don't like to print skills that let you go against the triangle. That's my guess anyway, but that's a guess. It could be anything. Oh, I like that though. If you've got like some specific matchup that you are really gunning for, or some specific support. Like, I imagine colorless Feud, if they printed it, would be nuts. There aren't so many... Weirdly enough, there aren't so many strong red units or like strong red supports at the moment that spring to mind, but colorless supports, green supports, blue supports, all of them being able to just shred their buffs away entirely. So that's definitely a very nice pickup. And Flavia, again, has that niche that she shares with Young Innes of just slapping her way straight through damage reduction. You love to see it. Let's keep going.
Make ready, dog.
Unfortunately, this Basilio, no. Well,
I'll be glad to take
he might have good skills still. He might have a PRF, maybe.
Goes out in a blaze of glory.
That's not a PRF. That is, in fact, the Spirited Axe Plus. We've seen Spirited Weapons before. I think the Spirited Spear, with bonuses active on unit, grants attack defense +4 and special cooldown charge +1 per foe's attack during combat. It's huge fan, I'm pretty sure, except in the regular 4-star pool, so no longer do you have to kill all those... What's his face? You know, the guy with the... He's getting married. You know who I'm talking about. Anyway, yeah, you don't have to kill those anymore. His regular version is Fury Fodder. Why can't I remember his name? Forget it. Spirited Axe is that, but as a regular thing and not like a fancy seasonal thing. Great. Moonbow, attack defense bond 3. Is actually pretty handy to have for inheriting, for instance, attack defense unity. I'm pretty sure goes off of bond 3. So consider that for saving yourself some inheritance on fodder down the line. And attack tactic 3 is... Be honest with me, when's the last time you actually used a tactic skill? Basilio, no, I can't believe they've done this to you. Hopefully his stats are good at least. Well. He looks like he has a lot of defense there, and he's still a big old sexy man. And here's our Mythic. A new Mythic Hero joins the battle, and
my deepest wish
she is Ash, the retainer to Askr. Behold,
as long as they might wish.
She is a colorless beast infantry unit, and she wields the Horn of Opening. Despite the fact that that is clearly not a horn, it is a cowbell. Let's read the effect. Accelerate special trigger. Cooldown count -1. If unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, grants attack +6 to unit during combat, and inflicts attack -6 on foe during combat. So the Spendthrift style effect. Nice. Grants the following effects based on the number of allies within 3 spaces. Greater than or equal to 2 allies, unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. Greater than or equal to 3 allies, foe cannot make a follow-up attack. Okay, so that's already a lot of effect, and there's more because she's a beast unit. Start of turn, if unit is adjacent to only beast or dragon allies, or if unit is not adjacent to any ally, unit transforms, the classic. If unit transforms, grants attack +2, deals +7 damage when special triggers, and neutralizes effects that grant special cooldown charge +X to foe, or inflict special cooldown charge -X on unit. We saw this new infantry beast effect on Naila's Refine pretty recently. And now it's on the new infantry beast as well. Ash has it too, and combined with that slaying effect, special trigger cooldown count -1, that alone means that what we have here is a pretty formidable special hammering unit. You get those specials no matter what. No one can stop you from getting your special, and when it goes off, you get that +7 damage on it, dealt damage for just big old chunky specials. And then, because of course there's more, there's the whole free spaces of an ally condition. Free spaces, that's a pretty big area. If you've got one ally, you get the 12-point attack swing. You get 6 attack, they lose 6 attack. If you've got 2 allies, you get a guaranteed follow-up attack. If you've got 3 allies, you've got follow-up attack prevention on the foe. That's really promising for Ashe as well. Obviously, she's going to be a slow unit, but slow, but hard-hitting and tanky. Doing the job of more or less an armored unit. And what that also means is if this full effect is active, unless you're getting like null follow-up or something, you're getting that special. You need, like for instance with the bonfire she has here, you need 2 hits to charge that special base, and then a 3rd hit from you going out to fire it off. So you hit once, they hit you back, you hit a second time. That's how it's going to be with follow-up prevention and follow-up guaranteation. Not a word. Great start already. Attack Defense Unity is back. The Unity skills are just really nice to run because they let you safely run visible buffs. I've said this before. Null Panic is the other option now, but Unity is like the original option for, okay, you don't have to worry about panic anymore, because even if your attack and defense buffs get panicked, they just turn straight back into buffs again. Lull attack defense. Okay, so if she fights herself, she's still going to take those buffs off, but who cares, right? The lull skills still, like, pretty much defined the strength of the B slot for most unit classes. But in the C slot, what's this? Opening Retainer. It's a PRF C slot, I'm guessing, because she's a mythic, she gets one of those. Allies within 2 spaces can move to a space within 2 spaces of unit. We've seen this before. We've seen this before on seasonal refines. There's a key difference between those and these. 2 key differences. 1, this is a mythic unit. This level of movement support, right, I'll put it out there already, this level of movement support is nuts. If they're within 2 spaces of you, and they can move to a space within 2 spaces of you, that means they can move 4 spaces in one movement. And if they've got, for instance, Gale Force triggering as part of that, they can move 4 spaces back again. Ashe, just by existing, lets you shuffle units all the way around wherever you want. This can go over obstacles, this can go even over completely unbreakable terrain like walls. And because it's teleportation, unlike, for instance, Pathfinder, it doesn't get hobbled if you're hit by, for instance, gravity, something like that. It still lets you teleport around. It is insane-o bananas. And since she's a mythic, because you could previously have done something like this with the various units that have this sort of effect already, but the difference between them and Ashe is that they are using up one of your very important non-mythic slots. Ashe is a mythic. These kind of support skills is what mythics were made for, because you're forced to bring mythics, and those mythics aren't necessarily the strongest units on your team, but they let you do things like this. And actually, you know what other mode this could be pretty nuts in? Summoner's Duels. It's weird having to think about Summoner's Duels now, because they literally only just dropped. They dropped literally half an hour before I'm making this. because maintenance finished early. I've been playing a bit, and mobility is king in Summoners Duels, and this seems like an absolutely insane source of mobility. Especially because here's the other thing that's really nice about all this. Ash's builders are really tanky units by the looks of things. At least defense tanky, probably res tanky as well though, judging by her kit looks like a low speed kit to me. If you can put her out front, then all your allies who are behind her can move 4 spaces through her. But here's the best thing, the opposing team doesn't get the same kind of thing, so you can balance it out so they can only hit Ash, or they can only hit the save unit that's protecting Ash, because of course you can do that as well. Another thing I haven't even mentioned yet, this kind of thing lets armors with their natural 1 space movement move 4 spaces. It's nuts. It's bananas. It's various other food-themed metaphors. By the way, did I mention there's another effect on this thing? Grants attack +4 to allies within 2 spaces during combat. If unit is within 2 spaces from an ally, grants attack +4 to unit during combat. It's joint drive attack as well. Just in case moving like that wasn't crazy enough. And this unit's being given out to everyone for free. Did I mention this unit is being given out to everyone for free? My advice, if you haven't got a Yuri or whatever to, like, just make absolute messes out of Summoner's Duel, because it's been half an hour and that's what Yuri's doing, in my experience. Get this free unit, use them as your anchor. I think it'll work pretty dang well, not gonna lie. Aside from that, as an infantry unit, she has natural access to infantry skills. Or you could run Special Spiral on her, I think that'd be funny. Or null follow-up actually might not be bad even. Ash is really good. Ash is like turbo good. Ash is... that movement might power creep Dagger. Thinking about it, because Pathfinder gives you 1 extra space of movement going through the unit, but opening Retainer gives you like 3 or 4 spaces depending on how far away you're standing, regardless of how big your base movement is. The only real advantage I can think of for Pathfinder is that it works with Canto. Teleportation doesn't work so great with Canto because it still limits how far you can move, but still, what the heck is this? It's great. Not gonna lie, it's great. I love it. I've been rambling for a bit too long. Let's close up here. I doubt there's gonna be anything else except for her animations. We've already seen she turns into a cow, big old cow.
Please forgive me.
Now, please forgive me, it's very rude that I called you a cow, even though you are one. And yeah, new story chapter. We already know the GHB is Yanfei. There's Elm. He's a red flying beast by the looks of it. Neat. And yeah, Basilio is the 4-star focus. I'm sad for him. Everyone else on this banner is just bananas. Of course, you can spark it. They're probably going to tell us there's Celestial Stone as well, because they always do. Yep, lo and behold, there it is. That's it. Thanks for watching, everyone. Goodbye.